Welcome to today's decluttering and organising video, where we look at different things you can do throughout your home starting today, where you can clear out the clutter, organise your home environment, and in turn hopefully lower those stress and anxiety levels. We often go through difficult times in our lives, particularly in the last year or two, and during difficult times, it can be quite a lot to take care of ourselves and our home environment when we're preoccupied with our stresses and worries. And yet, living in a very cluttered and disorganized home environment can actually raise our stress and anxiety levels. I mean, for example, let's say you wake up with a stress and anxiety level of around, say, 2. And then you slept it out, so you're now at a 4. Then you can't find the paperwork you were working on yesterday, so you're now at a 5. Then perhaps you have to drop children somewhere and they can't find their shoes or their bags, so you're now at a 6 or 7. And then nobody can find the car keys, so you're now at an 8. So you've gone from a stress and anxiety level of a 2 to an 8 in such a short period of time, and that can have a real impact on how our day turns out. And I've worked in lots of homes decluttering and organising over the last couple of years because I'm super passionate about the effect having a decluttered home can have on our well-being. That's actually how I got into decluttering. I set up my own decluttering business 5 years ago to help and work with people who, for lots of different reasons, have maybe let stuff pile up or have no systems in place and they don't know where to start. They know they don't like it, but are just sort of unsure as to where to start. So we're going to make it really simple, and we're going to look at lots of different aspects in your home, and we're going to start with the kitchen, mainly because you're less likely to be emotionally attached to tins of beans and plates and knives and forks and stuff. And we'll also look at the bedroom, which is probably going to be the most difficult, and have a little look at all of the rooms in the house. So we're now going to start with your kitchen. So in terms of the kitchen, we're going to start really simple, and we're going to start with the cutlery drawer. And there's a clue in the name. It really is supposed to be for cutlery, and yet nearly every home I've worked in, there would be medicine spoons, pens, batteries, random bits of plastic, things that kind of look important but nobody really knows what they belong to, so we fire them into the cutlery drawer. And once somebody puts in 1 or 2 pieces, it's like a total clutter party because more people will put stuff in. For example, how many medicine spoons do you have in your cutlery drawer? I mean, unless you're planning on making earrings out of them, which you're not, do a good clear out and put them in the recycling bin if they're recyclable, because you don't need 20 or 30 medicine spoons. You're never going to need 20 or 30 medicine spoons. So that's one to keep an eye out. So how to get started is literally take out the cutlery drawer, tip it all out onto the countertop, wash it down, and then start consciously making decisions about what goes back in. For example, do you need 35 teaspoons? Unlikely. And any excess that you come across, start putting it into a charity bag pile. And you can then build on that as you're going throughout the house. And in terms of the random selection of batteries that you may have in your cutlery drawer, like I would say to clients, keep it simple. This is a washed out candle jar. Rehome everything that you need, but that doesn't necessarily belong in the cutlery drawer. So I said a washed out candle jar, a plant pot. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy something immediately, because sometimes clients would say, oh no, I have to go out and buy stuff first, storage, before I start decluttering. that's just kind of pushing the project further down the line. So clear out the cutlery drawer, wipe it down, and start putting back only what you need, and then rehome what you don't need, and keep it really simple. In terms of a time frame, that is about, I'd say, 30 minutes tops. And the joy you will get the next time you go to the cutlery drawer and see organised calm, don't underestimate it. So we're now going to move on to your food presses. And to avoid feeling completely overwhelmed and then abandon the project halfway through, do it one cupboard at a time. And you start off by clearing off the countertop, taking everything out of one press, cleaning down the press, and then start going through the dates of the products. Some of them are bound to be out of date. And then replace by category. So it might be one section is for tinned goods, another section is for baking, another section could be for herbs and spices. And if you have a lot of herbs and spices, even putting them into small little baskets or an empty box, it doesn't have to necessarily be super fancy. So again, they're done by category. It could be Italian, it could be Indian spices. So rather than having to root around in the cupboard all the time looking for what you need, you have a really simple system in place. Again, in terms of time frame, probably around 30 minutes per cabinet. And once everything is being taken out, dates are checked, whatever goes back in, and you've gotten rid of products that are out of date, then start on another cabinet. Now you may find there's more tins in the second cabinet, but you can do a reshuffle afterwards. It's just, if you take everything out, it can be very overwhelming for clients. So please do it cabinet by cabinet, and it's going to be 30 minutes by cabinet. And it's also a good time as well to do up a list. Is there anything you've completely overstocked on, or anything that you're running low on? And then you can keep a running list, and don't keep it permanently attached to the fridge, because we've all done it, gone out to the shopping centre to do the big grocery shop, and we've got no list with us. So keep it where you can see it, and then make a point of reminding yourself to take it with you when you're going to do a restock. And you don't have to do all of the cabinets in one day, particularly if you're feeling quite anxious about doing it. Even if you did one task a day in terms of the food cabinets and the cutlery drawer, by the end of the week, you'll be flying it. Now that we've done our cutlery and our food cabinets, we're now going to look at the cabinets that a lot of people have, which are full of time-saving devices or makers. Things that you bought with the best of intentions and you've only used once because you realised the 50 little fiddly bits don't go in the dishwasher, and they don't actually save any time, because by the time you've individually washed and scrubbed all the little bits, you've actually taken up more time. And this is where it can become a little bit more difficult in terms of emotional attachment, because often clients, particularly if you've spent a good bit of money on something, find it hard to let go of those items. So as a psychotherapist, I try and encourage clients to reframe those thoughts. What is the point in keeping a big device that you never use, and every time you open that cupboard, you see that device, it reminds you of how much you spent, that it didn't actually work out, and can make us feel, have negative thoughts or feel not good enough. So get the whole lot out, and some charity shops will take electrical items, some won't, but it could be you also offer that love to family and friends and let them know you're having a clear out and pass them on, but also put a time frame on it. I'm having a clear out, this will be gone by the end of the week. And then to reframe that negativity in terms of you just tried something and it didn't work out, and there's a learning in that. And also the next time you're tempted to pick up a time-saving device, you'll be able to stop yourself from picking it up by reminding yourself you tried that before and it didn't work out for you. And there's no sort of negative feelings attached to that because everybody has done it. And in terms of clearing out that cupboard, again, probably another 30 minutes and then sticking it into your WhatsApp family group or checking with your local charity shop and donating it away. And another way actually to reframe your thoughts is, let's say you spent, I don't know, €100 or something on a device that didn't work out. You can reframe that as you are giving away €100 worth of stock to a local charity shop who can then sell it on to raise much needed funds. So it's all about looking at the emotional attachment rather than getting stuck and feeling embarrassed or ashamed that I shouldn't have done that. It's all about reframing your thoughts and letting it go so you can draw a line underneath that and move on. And the second last piece that we're going to look at in terms of your kitchen would be the plates, cups and saucers, the pans, all the practical stuff that we have. And I'm a firm believer in using the good stuff because lots of clients that I work with save the fancy glasses and the fancy plates and all the nice bits for special occasions or when visitors come. But if you reframe that, what is that about? Why are you telling yourself that you have to use the chipped cereal bowls or the mugs that maybe have seen better days when you have lots of other nice stuff packed away? I would always encourage clients, get rid of the things that are old or chipped and worn and that don't bring you happiness, and use the good stuff. Could some of it get a little bit broken? Yes, it's happened here. But I'd rather have the occasional accident than deny myself use of the good stuff, because what is that saying about me? What is it saying? That I don't deserve the good stuff, that I don't need the good stuff? So having a good and proper clear out of the practical stuff that you have and making a commitment to yourself to use the good stuff, because that's why you have it. And when you're doing that, again, what you don't need and want and that is appropriate, you can start putting that into your charity shop bag so that you have a system. So as stuff is moving in and out of cupboards, anything that needs to be taken out has somewhere to go, even just like a plastic shopper bag or something like that. And this might take a bit longer depending on the amount of stuff you have. So this may be a project just for one day in itself. And it could be, depending on the amount of stuff you have, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But it's so cathartic. Letting go of the stuff that is chipped and worn and giving yourself permission to enjoy the good stuff, because that's why you have it. And the last little segment we're going to do today on the kitchen is surfaces and shelves. I always encourage clients to keep kitchen countertops as clutter-free as possible and to question why it's there. For example, if you have a toaster out 24/7, do you actually eat toast? Or is it you just have toast in the morning? And if so, now that we've cleared out our cupboard of time-saving devices, maybe you can pop that toaster on a little tray so you don't spread crumbs everywhere, and then put it back into one of the empty cupboards. Because just visually will seem calmer, and you will have more space for preparing food. And if there are certain items that you do keep out on your countertop, try and group them together. And this is where you can have lots of fun displaying your own style. Is it vintage? Is it modern? And there's no time frame on this, because this is the fun part of it, where you get to group things. And you may have to arrange or rearrange until it feels like you, until it feels like your style, and that it's also practical, because I'm all about the practical solutions. And again, looking at the windowsill, is it full of bits and bobs, bits of plastic, batteries, pens? We know they have to be rehomed. And in terms of shelves, dusting them down and displaying things that make you feel good, that have happy memories for you, that when you walk into the kitchen, you just think, this is me, this is my home, this makes me feel good about myself. And particularly because the kitchen is one of the most used rooms, overused rooms a lot of the time in the home, that having something that works for you, that's practical, that makes you feel that I've got this looks like me. Again, like if you've had a difficult day or you wake up late, being able to come into a clear, clutter-free, organized kitchen can just make you feel that you've taken charge of this area of your home. So I'm not going to put a time frame on this, because this is something you can have fun with, and there is no mistakes. Because sometimes when I'm working with clients, they're afraid to do something in case it's wrong or it's a mistake. This is your home, and you may be faffing around with it for ages. You may like it, and then the next day, that's not so practical. So this is the part where you get to have fun. So we are now going to move on to your bedroom. Just as a psychotherapist, it's so important to get a good night's sleep when you can. It makes everything seem better. It helps us recharge and just feel rested. But if your bedroom looks like a whirlwind went through it, it can have the opposite effect. So I'm going to break it again down into tasks. I'll give a time frame for each job, just so you can plan out exactly what it is that you want to get done. And again, you don't have to lash through all of this in a weekend, because you'll be emotionally and physically exhausted. Mainly because you'll be hoofing things around the house, but also decluttering is about decision making and continuous decision making. And when I'm working with clients in their homes, generally I would only work for about 3 hours. Now, if I was out miles away from home, out the west of Ireland maybe, I might do a bit longer, so we don't have to rearrange another appointment. So in terms of the bedroom, wardrobes. I have lost count of the amount of wardrobes that I've tackled, and it is a very emotional issue, because our clothes are how we present ourselves to the world, and a lot of people have issues around the clothes and money they spent, so it can be quite emotional. So in terms of the bedroom, we're going to start with the wardrobe, and we'll do the worst first. So starting with our wardrobe, a wardrobe is a 3-hour job. So not something to be tackled in a hurry, because the first step, and nobody likes this, but it's the only way to do it, is to take every single item out of the wardrobe and pop it on the bed. And the reason being is, first of all, it involves commitment to take everything out. But if you leave everything hanging, you will just flick through them like a set of blinds, and you won't really make decisions. Also, it's such hard work putting stuff back. It can really make you look at why you're putting stuff back. But on the upside, that top or shirt or suit you thought you'd lost is probably stuck down the back of the wardrobe. So every cloud. In terms of then the system that I use, that I came up with, we have 4 piles. The first pile is the ditch pile. The clothes that are so threadbare and wally that you will never wear them again. And then clients say, oh no, I'm going to keep them for painting or decorating or gardening. We do not need a collection of clothes, people, for gardening, painting or DIY. I mean, do you even do any of these? And a lot of the high street retailers have donation boxes where you can give in clothing items that are then recycled. So that is another way again to reframe it. So the first pile is the ditch. The second pile is the definites. The clothes that you love, the clothes that make you feel great about yourself and put a little pep in your step. So as you're working through your items, the ones you know, the ones you can feel in your gut make you feel good about yourselves, they can go back in. And personally, when I'm rehanging items, I start with the longest to the left and then work shorter to the right in terms of coats, jackets, dresses, skirts, tops, starting longer on the left and then working, but that's just the way my mind works. So the definites have gone back in. Then I've also introduced the dithering pile, because sometimes clients can panic when they feel there's a lot being donated away and they start putting pieces back into the wardrobe that they know they're never going to wear, because there's this anxiety about, I'll be left with nothing, I'll have no clothes left. So to keep the momentum going, create a dithering pile. Don't even think about it, just pop them in. You're not being asked to give them away, you're just popping them to one side while you continue through the process. And then the donate away pile are the things you know that you never wear for lots of different reasons. For some clients, it might be they've changed career and they still have the suits from the previous career that are no longer relevant to their current role. So they can be donated away. In some cases, we're going to come across and I can see it nearly when I'm doing a wardrobe, you can see a client's style and then you can see a couple of things you're a bit like, And, you know, sometimes when we're in a sale and we see something that has been massively reduced, people can be tempted to buy it, even though it's not your shape, color or size, because it's a bargain. And bargain purchasing can be a downfall to a lot of us. So, and again, clients struggle in terms of the financial outlay on those items. But I would encourage clients to let go of that item. That's all it's doing is making the wardrobe emotionally complicated, because the tag is still on it. You bought it 3 years ago, you know you're never going to wear it, and you're only hanging on to it because of the amount of money that you spent on it. So again, we're going back into the psychotherapy and we're trying to reframe that. Let's say you bought something that was, I don't know, 150, 200 euros, but it was 600 euros originally, and you feel like you got such a bargain. But if you haven't worn it or you were lured in by the discount, it's just hanging there, taking up important storage space in your home, but even more so making you feel negative thoughts because I shouldn't have done that, but I will make it work, I will make it work. Or in some cases, the clients would have bought the hat and bag to go with it. But again, it's just compounding the issue. And we look at reframing that. Let's say, for example, I would say to clients, why don't you donate that away to the charity shop? And in terms of seeing it as, oh my gosh, it was such a waste of money, reframe it as in, I am now donating 150 euros worth of stock to an amazing charitable cause. And when you can reframe that, it's just so much easier to let go of stuff, because when you open your wardrobe the following day, those items that make you feel a bit stressed or anxious, they're gone. And you've also helped out a charitable cause. So it's trying to reframe your thoughts. So the 4 piles again are the ditch, and we're hopefully going to donate them into a recycling box. The definites that you love, the dithering, just to keep the process going, and then the donate away. And then when you've done another bag for the charity shop with all your donates away, we can then go back through the dithering pile. And I think once you actually get your definites in, it's a lot easier to go through the dithering pile because you don't feel so much under pressure, and you can see your style. I mean, I can see clients' definite style and who they are in their items of clothing, and you're more than careful about selecting things from the dithering pile. And then what you don't need, again, into another bag and off to the charity shop. And particularly with clothes, it's important to just get rid as soon as possible to stop you later on going through the bag and pulling out stuff. Or even worse, it'll live in the boot of your car for a long time. So that's the wardrobe, and it's 3 hours. Now that the wardrobe is done, we will now look at bedside lockers. I literally can't cope with 3-drawer bedside lockers because they're always full of tissues, more pens, more batteries, cough sweets, bits of broken jewellery, coins from holidays that we've been on in the past but we don't necessarily remember, and they're basically clutter holes. So if you have a 3-drawer bedside locker, it's going to take you probably between half an hour and an hour per locker. And the first thing I would say to clients is put a towel out on the bed and then tip the drawers out, because there's bound to be something in one of those drawers that is, the lid has slipped off, or perhaps it's makeup that's, maybe has been chipped or broken, and the last thing you want is poof, complicating the situation, and now you have to wash the bed linen. So put down a towel and then tip everything out. Wipe it down and then question, why are you putting each and every item back? The batteries go into your candle jar downstairs, your pens the same. It's basically rehoming everything, because that's part of the organizing process, and having a good look at why are you putting stuff in there. Personally, I don't have 3-drawer bedside lockers because they just create clutter holes everywhere. So cleaning them out, questioning why stuff is going back, and then having a good sort and tidy and organize of what you are putting back. And even a simple thing like the lid off a shoebox. If you have small little bits and pieces in your drawers, even putting them in the lid of the shoebox so they're kind of contained. Or it could be the actual main part of the shoebox if the drawers are deep enough, and then putting that inside the drawer. So if there's, say, medicines or makeup or bits and pieces, that they're all rehomed, so when you open the drawer, things don't go flying all over the place again and ruin your really hard work. So they are the bedside lockers. And again, what is on top of your bedside lockers? 3 empty cups of tea or coffee, more pens. Once you've done the inside, clean off the outside and then only put back what you need, such as a lamp, water, a book, or like a daily planner and your pen. So they are bedside lockers. It is an easy one, but it's more of a fiddly job, which is why it'll take a little bit longer. So we're now going to look at chest of drawers if you have one in your bedroom. And again, as per the kitchen, when we're working through the bedroom, one task at a time. Because if you empty out the wardrobe and the chest of drawers because you're like, I am going to blitz this, visually that's very overwhelming and could lead to a bit of self-sabotage. So even just one task a day, like with the kitchen, and it's slow and steady progress, and then you're more inclined to keep it up. So chest of drawers, depending, I would say time frame probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half, particularly if you have the chest of drawers that has sort of the 3 big drawers and then the 2 little drawers at the top, because that's where the problem is going to lie. Because again, we're back to loads of notebooks, cough sweets, random bits and pieces that we don't know where they belong, so we shove them in there. And again, towel down on the bed, empty everything out, wipe it down, and then question, why are you putting stuff back? Who needs 20 pairs of socks? There are 7 days in the week. Now, if you have sports socks and gym socks, that's slightly different, but just question, am I actually wearing these? Do these suit my current life? You know, if you've 10 pairs of gym leggings, but you don't go to the gym anymore, it maybe you only need 2 pairs for walking. And again, into the charity bag and off it goes. So that is the chest of drawers. And again, on the top, wiping it down, looking at what is there and why. If there's lots of shaving products, could they be put into a wash bag? If there's lots of makeup, could it all be contained in like a fancy box, or again, a makeup bag, rather than having lots of little different bits and pieces around? And be mindful about leaving out a decorative bowl on any surface, in any room of the house, because somebody will start the clutter party by putting coins in, and then somebody puts a bit of jewellery in, and then somebody puts a piece of plastic in that looks important but we don't know quite what it is, and before you know it, your beautiful decorative bowl will be buried in clutter. So top tip, avoid the decorative bowls unless they're somewhere, or even stand them up, or somewhere where people can't actually fill it full of stuff. So that is your chest of drawers done. We're now going to come to the chair. The chair in the bedroom, or perhaps a piece of fitness equipment that had beautiful intentions to start off with, but either or both of them have now formed a temporary wardrobe. I have seen it a lot. Or another one would be the floordrobe, because there's now piles of clothes on the floor as well. And it's got to stop, because again, it's visual clutter. And if you're struggling with sleep, or relaxing in your bedroom, or if you wake up and there's a lot of pressures and worries, you do not need to see any form of physical clutter. So with the chair, you may have piled clothes on and then somebody else piled clothes on. I can guarantee you one person threw a wet towel in there. So literally just get the clothes, throw them into the wash, and then remove the chair for a month. Might sound harsh, but it will reframe your thoughts in terms of, at the end of the day, the clothes either go back in the wardrobe or they go to the wash bag. They don't need a temporary little hangout spot. And the same for the piece of fitness equipment. Perhaps out of the room for a month where the temptation isn't there. And hopefully if you've started with the more time-consuming job, which is the wardrobe, you will have space. Or if you've done the chest of drawers, there could be space there for those clothes. So it is a matter of removing the equipment, just to remove temptation and to get yourself back into good habits. And then the last little piece in the bedroom, again, same with the kitchen, is the surfaces. And again, this is where you get to have a bit of fun, where you get to display things nicely and create a sense of you in the room, personalizing things that are important to you. Because when you've cleared out the stuff that doesn't matter, or you don't even know who bought it, or you don't even know who owns it, you can then display the nice little bits and pieces that make you feel good about yourself, that have happy memories. And that's where the fun is. So there's going to be no time frame on that. It's clearing off the windowsills, looking at your shelves, what is there, why is it there, Can I have a good clear out there as well? Is there anything there that's no real meaning to me? And again, it's all about having fun and displaying your personality. So we're now going to look at bathrooms. And bathrooms are relatively easy because there isn't a huge amount of storage. And one of the key things that I would say to clients is, you know, all those little makeup samples and little holiday items that we would have gathered for like our weekends away, gather all of them up and put them in a basket like this. So I keep this on my windowsill, and I have committed to using all of this stuff up before I buy anything else. And it doesn't matter when you go into the shops that it's 3 for 2, 50% off. If you already have 2 of those in your bathroom cabinet, it's not really a saving, because by the time you work through all of those products, and particularly by the time I get through all of these, even just little samples, there'll be another offer coming up as well. So gathering them all up, perhaps you had some in the bedroom, but a lot of people would have them in the bathroom, and putting them somewhere visually where you can see them, and then commit to using them all up, every little last ounce, and it will stop you bringing more and more stuff into your home, because every single item you bring into your home, you're responsible for. You're responsible for finding some place to keep it, remembering to use it. So even for a month, committing to using everything that you already have. And again, it's going back to reframing our thoughts. You don't need the latest lotion or potion to make you feel good about yourself. Use up what you have regular pamper sessions. I know on my Consciously Clearing Instagram, I do Fancy Fridays, where we get to use all of the good stuff to get ourselves into the habit of knowing that we deserve this and believing that we need this and that we're entitled to use it and that we don't need to re-gift it to other people. And again, just in terms of visual, your shampoos and your conditioners, some people keep them out all of the time, and then some people put them away in between use. I would encourage clients to decant them into bottles like these. You can pick them up in a lot of the high street stores, and you can just use a permanent marker. If you like to mark up here, S for shampoo, C for conditioner. I do this with my twins, and they seem to follow it. The only one thing I would say to people is I use all plastic items, because at least once a week somebody might knock something over in the shower, and I don't really fancy replacing the shower tray on a regular basis. So that's just my top tip. Use these, they're visually more calming. It's a really simple system, but it can look really effective in your bathroom. So again, the bathroom is more of a fun thing to do, because it's organizing, committing to change, and not necessarily buying anything unless you need these little bottles. But it's a fun project, or at least I think so. And I suppose about an hour tops. But again, the bathroom is used a lot. And if you're going to be doing the Fancy Fridays, having your bathroom as decluttered and organized, it's just going to make you feel better about yourself. So we're at the end of today's decluttering and organizing workshop, and I hope you found at least one little nugget in there that will help you start your decluttering and organizing projects. And I know for a lot of people it might seem overwhelming in terms of where to start, and not feeling sure, or getting caught in this kind of blame shame game as to how it got that way in the first place. Like when I'm working with clients in their homes, I always say to them, please do not tidy before I come, because nobody intends on living in a cluttered environment, but sometimes just life gets in the way. It could be a new baby, change of home, somebody's passed away, changing career. There's lots of different reasons why we may not be on top of things as much as we want to. But there are lots of different things that you can do within your home to change that. And I would say that to both my counselling clients and my decluttering clients, and in all of the workshops that I do. It's just about finding a place to start. And the kitchen is a good place to start. But to me, the bedroom is really important in terms of sleep and how you feel about yourself. But there can be a lot of emotional attachment, particularly to the wardrobe. So start with the kitchen and pace yourself. Because sometimes when I'm doing these workshops, clients are like, oh, that's it. I'm going to blitz the place for the weekend. Come Sunday night, you won't be able to walk straight and you won't be able to think straight. And you're unlikely to keep it up, because being decluttered and organised is a consistent process. And the hard bit is the start. And then you will come up with systems that work for you, because I'm just not a prescriptive person. I don't think that one system works for everybody, because, as I said, I have to hang my clothes left to right because that's the way my brain works. That's not the way other people's brain would work. Some people prefer doing formal work, casual. It's whatever works for you in your home. And again, it's about reframing. If you do feel stuck or feel overwhelmed, or you have that little voice in your head, by taking action, small, consistent steps, first of all, you'll silence that voice and you'll start to feel better about yourselves, because there is so much in the world that we can't control. There's so much in our lives that we can't control. But how you live and what you surround yourself with is something that you absolutely can do, and it will help to lower your stress and anxiety levels when you feel your home is calm and structured and organized and flexible. It's not about having to be perfect, because that's taking it to the other extreme. So I hope you feel that you can do it now, and that you can start on a little project. And good luck with all of your decluttering and organising projects. Take care.